So it's time now to talk about protest action taking place today, and this is about the South Africa anti-apartheid protest that is taking place. And we're joined on the line this morning by board member for Africa for Palestine, Bram Hanekom. Mr. Hanekom, good morning to you and welcome to the show.
Good morning, and thank you so much for having me on your amazing, fantastic show.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that. Let's talk about this protest action that is due to take place today.
Oh, we're really looking forward to it. We have representatives of over 20 organizations, and we, like many of your listeners, were quite insulted and shocked when Miss South Africa CEO stated that it's a small fringe group. So we can proudly say that these 20 organizations have a collective membership of over 5 million, and they've all come to represent their organizations to speak out against Miss South Africa misrepresenting us.
Yes. Now, we've seen the announcement come through from the government with regard to their thoughts on the South Africa and its participation at the pageant next month in Israel. But it does appear as if the organizers of Miss South Africa are adamant, and just looking at the message that yourselves as Africa for Palestine and the 20 other organizations, what message are you going to be sending today during this protest?
The Miss South Africa organization and CEO clearly are misusing the Miss South Africa trademark, and Miss South Africa herself, Lalela, is being taken advantage of. They're using her as a front for their agenda. The CEO and the company 9 Squared, which owns Miss South Africa, has business relations with the JNF, an extremist pro-apartheid Israel group, and clearly that they're using her to sanitize and beautify the apartheid of Israel.
Have you been in touch with the participant herself?
We had a contact who had a very reliable contact who had at one point let us know that they were withdrawing, and was quite solid. But then it appears the CEO and the owner of the company made sure that they didn't withdraw. From what I gather, the withdrawal of Miss South Africa, Lalela, the current Miss South Africa, would just be met with a replacement by one of the runner-ups. So essentially what we need is the company and the organization must withdraw in its entirety. We don't want any representation or anyone walking around with our flag at this revolting and disgusting, ugly event in Israel.
Definitely. And obviously, just by participating, this would give Israel legitimacy to continue with whatever it is doing, because this is exactly the agenda that is playing out, because this is what Israel is seeking. They want to be seen as legitimate in the eyes of the entire world.
Exactly. But the beautiful thing is we've already won, because certainly the world knows that South Africa, the country, has withdrawn its support. And today in the protest, we want to show that the trade union of COSATU, the various political parties and organizations representing millions of South Africans, are saying not in our name. So if she does go, I think the world already knows that she doesn't represent us. She's going in defiance of what the country believes. And it's an act of betrayal by this organization in Miss South Africa if she proceeds. And that betrayal will be met with a complete destruction of the brand Miss South Africa. It no longer means Miss South Africa, but rather she's now Miss 9 Squared, a spokesperson of Stephanie Well, the owner of that company, if she proceeds as Miss South Africa.
Yes, and the fact of the matter is what the organizers of Miss South Africa as an organization, they're trying to hide behind an argument that it is not a political organization, the event is not politically inspired. Now, this needs to be challenged, because we know for the fact that there are huge political implications, Bram.
Yeah, not only that, but the lie and dishonest position that Ms. Stephanie Well, who owns this company, have made, that they are neutral and they don't take sides, and it's a complicated issue, and we want two versions, and go and see that kind of narrative, has been totally exposed as a proper lie. We're seeing the unmasking of Miss South Africa in front of our very eyes. The company 9 Squared that owns Miss South Africa does direct business with the JNF, the Jewish National Fund, an extremist group that has been rejected by progressive Jewish people all over the world. It is an extremist group that steals lands and plants trees on Palestinian land as a mandate. So Ms. Stephanie Well must just be honest and say, look, I am a supporter of apartheid Israel. My company supports apartheid Israel. I own this company, Ms. South Africa, and I've decided that we're going ahead. And Lalela can quit if she wants, but we're going ahead. And if that's what she's going to do, then she can expect these protests we're doing.
Yes. Now, looking at the protest action that is taking place, what is the process? What can be expected?
Well, we're quite thrilled to be able to tell you before anyone else that the president of the ANC Women's League, Batabile Dlamini, will be joining us. The deputy secretary of the SACP, Comrade Soli Mapaila, will be addressing us. The GS of COSATU, Comrade Bekin Jali Jali, will be addressing us. Comrade Mant and Chief Mandla Mandela will be addressing us. It's bound to be quite a vibrant event, and we're going to show, not in huge numbers, we're not intending to have thousands of people because of COVID-19 and the sensitivities we're still facing, because we all want to get out of this era, but we'll come with enough people to show that we have numbers. The organizations have members, and the leaders of these organizations are going to pronounce on behalf of the organizations that they denounce and they don't accept any proceeding in this event, and if they do, they go so as Miss 9 Squared, not on behalf of our people or our country.
Yes, and just finally, looking at it from the government's perspective, because you've mentioned all the personalities who will be present at the event, is also to send a strong message to the government at the same time, because we've welcomed this principled stance that the government has made, but also at the same time calling on the government to do a lot more, to have a lot more courage, to commit to more tangible measures to support the cause for Palestinian liberation, Bram.
Well, various organizations will have various messages. I mean, Africa for Palestine, we have a view that the country is getting better and better. Our government is getting better and better, and we more and more strongly are supporting the Palestinian people. This withdrawal of support from South Africa was a massive move, a seismic shift, and really needs to be welcomed. And Minister Nathi Mthethwa and our government need the support from our people, and that's what we'll give them. In terms of doing more and the path forward, absolutely, we hope to see more developments, and we hope our government will help do that, including the opposition parties and ruling parties can hopefully come together to make South Africa truly the friend and ally and safe home for the Palestinian people we should be.
Yes, Bram, I've just got a message that's come through from a listener on the screen and asking you for comment. The message reads, some people say that the government is bullying Miss South Africa, Lalela Mswane, because the country has not taken an official position on Israel. We still have our officials in Tel Aviv, and the Israeli officials are here in Pretoria. So just a comment on that.
Well, I'm really happy that question was asked, and thank you so much for sending that through, because we must clarify this. For over 2 years, we have not had an ambassador in Israel, in Tel Aviv. We removed our ambassador over 2 years ago. The government took a position that we are downgrading our relations with Israel. Ever since then, our relationship's been pretty bad. Only 3 weeks ago, the head of mission, the most senior diplomat we have in Palestine, was manhandled by Israeli police, when on behalf of our people, he proudly represented us and confronted the police and said, why are you not allowing these Palestinians to pick their olives here? And he got manhandled and verbally abused by the Israeli police. So our top official in that area was targeted and manhandled by the Israeli police. So we can proudly say that our government has moved forward a lot. We do not have an ambassador there. Government is not bullying Miss Lalela. If she were to pronounce, and if Ms. Ayako were to pronounce that she's going as an independent candidate, then we'd welcome that differentiation, because the main issue we have here is don't go and represent us as a country. Do it as an individual. Even as an individual, we have problems with that. But calling yourself Miss South Africa, a company having on their website that Miss South Africa is an ambassador for South Africa, it's an appalling misrepresentation of our people, and it threatens to humiliate our country's progressive stance and our constant show of solidarity with the Palestinian people. Fatah also issued a statement calling upon her to withdraw. So the people of Palestine have also said they want Ms. South Africa not to participate. So our country as government is representing the people of South Africa as it should. Our government doesn't support her. and they said it's not good, she shouldn't go. Our government is not forcing her not to go. They're expressing themselves as other people. And if they decide to go without the support of the government, without the support of organizations representing millions of South Africans, and without the support of the general public and people, and even the media, even mainstream media, are now aware and have come to the table in recognizing that Israel is an apartheid state, and defying this call to action would leave them entirely on their own. So our government has actually taken firm steps towards holding Israel accountable. We want more. We're going to push for more. We must continue to push for more. But really, I think that it's not bullying to tell someone not to go and call herself the Miss South Africa when she goes without our support. It's not bullying to say to someone, don't go over there and pretend to be an ambassador in a country where we have deliberately withdrawn and not returned an ambassador to because of a relationship of our countries and because of our view on their human rights violations.
Well, Bram, thank you very much for that. We wish you well during this protest as well. And as always, we appreciate you taking time out and talking to us here on Salam Media. All the best to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us. Thank you.
From Hanekom, board member for Africa for Palestine, which brings us straight to the end of another edition in this morning's broadcast of News and Views. It's time for me to sign off, and I'll be back with you next week on Thursday. But for now, from myself and the rest of the team, have yourself a great Jummah Mubarak once again, and also a wonderful weekend ahead. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Breaking stereotypes, moving boundaries, joining hands. Salam Media.